Welcome to the Behind the Girl Boss podcast, where every woman's journey takes center stage. Join us in this safe space as we explore the ins and outs of business, career, mental health, the music industry, and more. Whether you're a go-getter or a dream chaser, we've got stories for you. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok for an exclusive backstage pass. Get ready to be inspired, empowered, and entertained. Welcome to the ride. Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to the podcast. So we have another guest with us and we have Alex. So hi, Alex.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on. Do you want to start off by telling us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do?
Yeah, for sure. So I am a content strategist and a business growth expert. So I kind of pair both using content to help you grow your presence online, attract a hot community of leads, have people who are actually like knowing and trusting you, which is key to actually get those conversions and those passive conversions. We can see all these things online of people who are making money while they sleep or making money while they're on the beach and buying their courses, buying their even free offers and joining into their email list. Like, what is the secret sauce behind that? That's what I really talk about, of how to use your content as the hustler essentially in your business so that you can be a little bit more in magnetism mode and to scale through attraction based marketing and really standing in your own leadership.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into all that with you. But before you do that, I like to do a little hot seat segment to kind of just break the ice and know little fun facts. So the first one is if you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
This is such a hard one. I'm going to go sentimental though, and I'll say my grandpa.
Yeah. No, I feel that. Me too. I feel like, I mean, my grandfather passed away when I was like 10. So I feel like I didn't really speak to him much or like have like actual conversations. So I feel like
Yeah,
it'd be so cool to be like an adult having that.
I agree. That's what I was thinking about this because I know you sent that over before, and I actually really thought about it, and I went the business route, and there was a couple people that came to mind, but yeah, that's my answer.
Love that. And the next one is what's one TV show you recommend to everyone you meet?
If it's a business book, 10x is easier than 2x is a book that I'm like preaching from the rooftop right now. I loved it. It made me feel so relaxed but inspired at the same time, where it's about doing less but doing a few things really good, and you can grow faster as a result. So it kind of takes that stress off of having to do all the things and go so like hard at all the directions. So 10x is easier than 2x for a business side. The Mountain Is You by Brianna Weist was a really great one personally too, about getting out of your own way and just leaning into your passions and your callings a little bit more. So, and then I watch a lot of true crime,
Me
but
too.
that's disturbing to some people.
No, I know. Literally, I'm obsessed with it. And whenever I tell people that, they're like, why? I'm like, I honestly don't even know. It's just so interesting to me.
It's the only kind of show that I don't know how it's going to end. Like if you put on a rom-com or something, you already know
Yeah.
basically how it's all going to go. But yeah, something is captivating about true crime, and better if it's fiction than real life. But unfortunately, I do enjoy both.
Me too. Me too. And then the last one is what's one thing you can't start your day without?
Coffee. I
Me
wish it
too.
was something deeper like meditation, but coffee, I'm not really a morning person. So that's my essential.
No, me too. I literally have a coffee right next to me right now because if not, I literally would be falling asleep. So, as someone who does share a lot of their life online on social media, I love to ask people what's something that you do for fun for yourself that many people may not know that you actually do.
I'm pretty public about a lot of things. So I had to think about this. And I think one of the big things right now is a lot of my friends during COVID left Toronto. I'm downtown Toronto, and they would go to like different suburbs and such, since you can now work really anywhere. And obviously that was like sad at first, but then I just got into this mentality of I just want to start going to events by myself, making new
Mhm.
friends. And I've talked about it a couple times on social, but now I just like sign myself up when I find an event that's cool. I'm actually going to one tomorrow. It's a yoga event, and then there's a manifestation portion.
That's
I don't
cool.
even read. Yeah, I'm excited. And I don't even send it to friends anymore because I've learned that when I go by myself, I'm just way more outgoing.
Yeah.
And I've met a lot of people through that. So that's just like something I've started doing. And I encourage people to try it too, because you're way more open to having those random conversations or approachable when you're not just like standing with a friend that you came with.
Yeah. No, I agree. I need to start doing that because I'm like always like so shy about it. But then I see people that are alone at events and they just look so confident and like not awkward. And I'm like, I need to be that person.
Yeah, like the first few minutes when you walk in, you're like, oh, why did I do this to myself again? And then you meet someone else who's also there solo, and then everyone kind of finds each other, and you're like, oh, you leave and you're really happy you did it. So it's
Yeah.
worth getting through that first walk through the door. Oh gosh, where am I going to go? Who am I going to talk to? It is worth it.
Yeah, for sure. So growing up, did you always see yourself working in this career path, or did you have a different path in mind?
I was always called to entrepreneurship, and I actually took an entrepreneurship course in university in because I took business. And I remember being in that class thinking, I need to come up with an idea. I need to come up with an idea. I would love to work for myself. And I remember being so hard on myself. That was kind of a theme for me back then, just being so,
Yeah.
hard on myself for things and something I've tried to unlearn. But I was always called towards entrepreneurship. The fact that it's social media and really showing up online is something that I didn't expect because I was always a shy kid.
Hmm.
I like, being social when it's my friends and people I know, but I wasn't that good at putting myself out there. But it's something that actually I think content creation has really helped me with. It's now translated into my personal life, even going to these events and being more open by myself. It's funny, it's like a transformation that I didn't think creating content would help me with. I've
Yeah.
become a little bit bolder of a person. Age is probably a part of that too, but I think, did I see this specific career coming? Entrepreneurship, yes. But if you scroll back on my social media, like really far, all my posts are still there. And I wasn't even showing my face on social media. It's all repurposed Pinterest photos with a caption. Like I didn't want to show my face. And now, like,
Hmm.
I am the brand,
Yeah.
being Alex Freitas Social. So I was surprised that this is how it turned out, but happy that I leaned in.
Yeah, and I think nowadays being the like face of your brand is so important. And like how we were talking about it in our like the episode for your podcast, like personality is so important. And I think that being the face of your brand is just like important nowadays.
Yeah, I know. It used to be a lot more of like brands like with a different name, and then maybe you showed up or maybe you had
Yeah.
like different, but like that personality piece, which again you were talking about yesterday also, is what really makes you different from someone else who might be doing the same thing in your
Yeah.
story. So yeah, I ended up shifting. It used to be called the Mirror series, and it was your life's a mirror reflection of you kind of thing, and more on the manifestation side, and then evolved, and now it's Alex Frida Social. So I really stepped into it.
Yeah, for sure. Can you talk a little bit about like your background and what you were doing before you decided to start your own business?
Yeah, I got a job right out of university at Coca-Cola. And so I was
Okay.
doing sales there, which was cool. But it was such a big established, or is such a big established brand, that there's not that much room for creativity and influencing the process. Like, this is the process, this is how you do it, and there's no changing it. And so, especially being young, I wanted to have a place where I could be a little bit more creative, influence procedures a little bit more, and have my voice heard also.
Hmm.
A lot of the people were older men, also who had been there for like 20, 30 years. And so
Yeah.
I don't know if they necessarily meant to, but they do make you feel like, dumb, or like
Yeah.
you don't know anything. Who are you, kid, kind of thing. So I moved to Toronto and I started working at Stack Adapt, which is a programmatic advertising startup. It was a startup at the time. So I got in when it was the small startup. I was doing advertising sales. I got to grow with them. I was employee number 60. And then when I left 6 years later, it was over 1,000. It was a global brand. So I got to get some really awesome experiences in marketing and sales and full funnel strategies, which is a lot of what I bring into my content now, of like awareness and like actually
Yeah.
converting people. So I'm really thankful I had that experience and got to move through the ranks there to be a senior account executive by the time I left. And I would lead, travel different places around North America and take clients out for cool events, which is cool. I got to go to a Beyonce concert in a box suite
Okay.
2 summers ago, which when she was on tour. So yeah,
That's
it was a
cool.
lot of fun. And I really credit it to being where I am now with my business and the expertise. If anyone is listening and isn't looking to go full time in their own business, a startup is such a great way to really excel your career and learn faster because you get more authority, because
Yeah.
they don't treat you just like, here's the process, take it and run with it. Like, you have an opportunity to really make a difference there, which is cool.
Yeah, for sure. And when you were first starting your business, did you have any mentors or resources that you relied on?
I did. And I think it's something that I really learned is it's so easy to invest in a mentor based on the shiny object syndrome, or like the big cash wins and stuff that they show on social media.
Yeah.
And I definitely did that when I was first starting. And I don't want to name any names because everything teaches you a lesson, but
Yeah.
I just got into this one program. I was like, okay, they talk about how they help their clients get these insane sales. And so I just purchased it. And I didn't really get into the driver's seat of my business thinking, do the methods that they teach actually align with the business that I want to
Mhm.
create? And in this instance, they were teaching a lot of sending cold DMs, like hard pitching people, and it just didn't really align with me. I ended up leaving that container early. And again, like every process resonates with different people,
Mhm.
but I learned a lot in that moment that investing in your business is so powerful, but make sure that you are looking at, does the business really emulate the way that you want to grow yours? And then I started working with Marley Rose Harris, who was my business coach for a while. And I worked with her one-on-one, and I also did a group program with her. And she was pretty influential for me, helping step into that attraction based, more so like be a leader, step into your
Yeah.
authority, and then attract people that way, which really resonated with me, especially with a marketing background of like set the stage, build the vision, and then attract people who are into it. So I think coaching specifically with Marley was really helpful, but being aware of like not just seeing what people post online as the big results and being like,
Yeah.
okay, what are their methods and does that align with how I want to grow mine?
Yeah. That's so important because I feel like nowadays a lot of people post online like this is how I like got from like 0 to 100K and purchase my course if you want to do the same. And it's like I see so many of those, but I never like actually go look and like see like if it aligns with me or not. And I feel like
Yeah,
so many people don't and they just get like caught with like, oh, they made like so much money in this amount of time. Like I need to like buy their course right now. But like you
yeah.
said, like make sure it aligns with you because not every single business method is going to work with you.
Yeah. And like some people like taking sales calls, some people just want a passive sales funnel. Like,
Yeah.
what is their method? And a lot of times, if you ask them, if they don't necessarily offer maybe publicly a sales call, but you ask them just to hop on a quick call because you have some questions, maybe ask like what their process is a little bit more. And also, if they say no, that's a red flag too, because
Yeah.
there's some people who have that approach of you pay to be in my energy and this is it.
Hmm.
And that's kind of a red flag in itself. So
Yeah. 100%. So at what point did you realize like, oh, like I'm gonna quit my 9 to 5 and work for myself full time? Like what was that moment?
it was honestly super scary because I'm a homeowner
Mm.
and I have a mortgage and I'm also now engaged, but not at the time. So planning my wedding, which will be next year. So a lot of big things on my plate financially. So something I really had to plan for financially and put money away, mainly
Mhm.
mortgage payments. I think for me, I'm just a bit of an anxious person. So planning helps me feel more rooted and more grounded.
Yeah.
Planning being, how much money would I like to have? Okay, a year's worth of mortgage payments will help me feel like things are going to be okay. And if things aren't okay, that's enough time to find a new job. And that's
Mhm.
also like what would help me get through it. I'd remind myself, like, if it doesn't work out, you can get a new job. And I know that's kind of worst case scenario, but again, as someone who's anxious, like that did help me.
Mhm.
So I would say that to myself. But the turning point for me really was realizing that I kept hitting like a growth point in my business. And then I'd get all these new clients, I'd work with them, and then I'd still have my corporate job and work there. And then because it was so busy, my own business would start to go back to like maybe not getting clients for a little bit because I wasn't pitching as much because I was busy. My plate was
Yeah.
full. So I just kept capping out at this one, limit. It's like I get all these clients, I'd work with them, but I'm so busy. So I'm not pitching. And we come back down. And I just couldn't get past it.
Yeah.
And really at the end of the day, it's because time was my capacity, it was my bottleneck. And so that's what I started to realize, okay, it's time to start putting the pieces into place to quit my 9 to 5 and go full time. But again, it didn't happen overnight. It happened through planning for me because it was such a scary thought, actually.
Yeah, for sure. Was it like a certain number that you hit that you were like, okay, like I'm making this amount like like month, I'm gonna quit now? Or was it like your partner being like supportive about it? Like what really made you be like, okay, like now, like this second I'm gonna do it?
I think it was a mix because I wanted to hit consistent 10K months to go
Hmm.
full time. Like not just hit it once, but like
Yeah.
always hitting it. And I'm like, okay, this is something that I just do. This is where I'm at.
Hmm.
And I realized though that I wasn't able to hit that every single month because of that time limit. So I
Hmm.
started to understand, okay, it's not that I can't do it, it's because I don't have the time. So if I go full time, that gives me the space. So
Yeah.
because I became aware that it's it was easy to say, oh, I made all this money this month, and then this next one I didn't. And then I'd be hard on myself. But when I started to remove the emotion and think about it, it was like, oh, it's because I don't have time. It's because I didn't pitch
Yeah.
myself as much. So that awareness helped me just understand, okay, going full time will be giving me the space to make more money. And then also because I am co homeowner, I guess,
Yeah.
like we both own it together.
Hmm.
I actually met my fiance at the startup, which is funny. So when I left, he's
Love
still
that.
there, but he, has got a good stable position. And so
Hmm.
that definitely takes a weight off where it's like, okay, if there's a couple months where if something doesn't go right, I do have someone to help me. I'm not just a
Yeah.
solo homeowner. That is helpful. And it's not that if you're owning a home on your own that you can't do it. I think it's just planning properly, like put the proper
Hmm.
mortgage payments away. And my plan was, again, if it didn't work out, I just get another job, and that
Yeah.
affirmation helped me stay calm. And really, that is the solution for the worst case scenario. And it's not that bad. So
Yeah. For
yeah,
sure. So you're a content strategist. What does a day-to-day look like for you?
it usually starts with going through my email first because I have clients that will send me some things that they want me to check out. Like, hey,
Mhm.
I finished the funnel we were talking about. What are your thoughts? Or I have these different ideas. I also use Voxer for my clients where they can
Okay.
send me private messages. It's like a walkie talkie app. So I check my email and Voxer first. Then I move into anything that is creative because I find by the end of the day, I'm just kind of not
Yeah,
as
true.
creative because you're a little bit more tired, a little more worn out. So if I have to create my own content, if I have to come up with my own ideas, maybe for my own emails or giving client brainstorming, things like that, I like to move into that in the morning. Midday, I do a lot of my calls. So for my client calls, this right now, this kind of thing I like to do like in the middle of the day so that
Yeah.
at the end, I'm doing a lot of the wrap up, anything that might have come through or follow up from the calls that I had. And I like to bulk record my content as well. So Thursdays and Fridays, I stop taking calls because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, fully open to take calls, but Thursday, Friday, not as much because
Mhm.
I found that for me as a creative, I need to have open space to sit down and film, bulk record TikToks that are longer, which take more energy, film my podcast episode, and even like creating those sales funnels and stuff and freebies that get you those clients and upsell people through like being excited about your content, clicking on your link, getting your freebie, being upsold through an email
Mhm.
sequence. Having Thursdays and Fridays to really create has made a big difference for me. So those are like no makeup, sit, well, unless I'm
Yeah.
filming, but then it comes right off and then I'm just like
Yeah.
working away. And I found that that makes my whole week so much more fun and I get a lot more done.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I make like all my calls like usually Mondays, Tuesdays, and sometimes Wednesdays, and then Thursdays, Fridays, I kind of keep it like for myself or to like not have calls because I feel like I used to try and do calls Monday to Friday and it would make me so tired and drained. And I like, then I started to hate them, which like was annoying me. And I was like, hey, I need to figure something out because it just doesn't work for me to do it. And like some people can do calls every single day and be fine. But I think with my personality type, I'm more like introverted and stuff. So having calls every day was just like not it for me.
Me too. I relate to that so much because it's like once I'm on the call, I'm having fun and I'm excited. But
Hmm.
then sometimes it's like I want to create, I just want to like put my headphones on and do something.
Yeah.
And then you've got a random call in the morning and another one in the afternoon, which just like breaks up your creativity. It's like
Yeah.
let's leave some space just to create. And it's helped me actually, I think, with sales too, because I'm able to put together more free material because I've got
Hmm.
room in my calendar to create, which ultimately helps people say, oh, this is what being in your world is like,
Yeah.
which helps them convert. So yeah.
Yeah. And as of right now, what services do you offer to different clients?
Yeah, I have three core offerings. So one is content repurposing. So if you want your content repurposed across platforms, let's say you create TikToks or you create Reels, but you don't have the space in your calendar or the capacity on your team to get those now on YouTube Shorts, to Pinterest pins, to all these different places that can drive traffic very strategically to sales funnels or your website or to a booking page or to maybe your digital product. If you don't
Hmm.
have the space to add all that maximization and traffic, then I repurpose your content for you. So that's my content repurposing offer. I also have private coaching. So it's for someone who's looking for hands on, ongoing support where we meet and we do strategy, and then I'm there while you implement. And then I have a course, which is more like, give me the tools and I'm going to run with it and try and actually like put this into play myself for someone who wants more of like do it at your own speed kind of thing.
Yeah, love that. And when you're helping a client develop like a content strategy, what kind of tools do you use for that?
I think something that's really important is not so much thinking about what's your niche, but it's like, what do you want to be known for? Because
Mhm.
I think when we think about that, we can bring more pieces of our personality into it, which
Yeah.
is funny. Yesterday, you're like, I keep saying personality. And like, I totally align
Hmm.
with that because I teach about that a lot too. When we think about what do I want to be known for, we can get more of our uniqueness in there. So I like strategy and I also like mindset. And because I want to be known for someone that brings more of that space and creativity, and it's not as much, here's your content pillar, follow this, right?
Yeah.
You get that room. That's something that's important for me to be known for. So we look at like, what do you want to be known for? When someone thinks of your business, thinks of something regarding like your expertise, they think of you. And then we bring that back into education, inspiration, and activation content. So it's like that balance of really, I want what she has and seeing what's possible through your methods, and
Yeah.
also really being a resource. Like if I go to your page, is it worth following? And how can I create content that's going to be worth following? Not just like selling, 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 but if I see your post, is it helpful to me? Do I want to save it? Do I want to send it to a friend who I know is struggling with whatever that is? Maybe it's an inspiration one. I share it to my story, things like that. So we look at when we do a strategy session, it's like, what do you want to be known for? And then how can we get that balance of I want what she has, as in your methods are powerful and you get results, and I get a taste of your results and I can
Yeah.
implement and get real transformations so that I build that trust with you.
Yeah. And can you kind of share some key factors you think were essential to scaling your business to six figures?
It's funny because I've tried so many different things, but there's one thing that is the biggest, which is content. And it sounds funny where it's like, oh, are you just saying that because you're a content
Hmm.
strategist? And it's like, I actually found that to be my niche because I'm so passionate about it,
Yeah.
because it's been so powerful for me in my business. I think like even when I was working a corporate job, my time was limited. So it's like I could
Hmm.
make the most beautiful landing page, I could make a logo, I could make all these things, but would anyone even click to see it if my content wasn't exciting them? And the
Yeah.
answer is no, right? Like they need to see content, they need to see things that speak to them to then explore it. So even when I was working corporate, focusing on content that actually activates people helped me get client inquiries even without a landing page. It's like, hey, are you taking new clients? Hey, are you this and that? So that's how I was able to grow when my time was limited. And then when I still now in full time hitting that six-figure mark and now beyond, it's
Yeah.
how can I just go even bigger and paint an even bigger picture and create passive offers too, because if you're always trading time for money, then you only have so much time in your schedule. So that could be things like digital products, it could be things like pre-recorded master classes. Like I have a lot of questions about Pinterest, so I created a Pinterest training,
Hmm.
things that people can just access. And what I would also say on like growing is creating an ecosystem with your products so that people can move around without you manually having to have those conversations. What that can look like is if someone gets my Pinterest course, which is $49. In it, there's a coupon code to upgrade into my course for that's a coupon code of $200. So you get
Hmm.
the amount of the Pinterest offer back, plus you can upgrade. So it's a very
Yeah.
attractive upgrade option. And then there's emails that go out and send that. So it's like if you're excited and you're vibing, here's your next step. Because if you don't have that next step, then it's a little bit more manual or they might fall off.
Hmm.
I think I was able to grow really consistently because not only did my content speak to them and then they were a part of my world, but then here's the next step. And I still make sure to include that in everything I do.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, in 2025, I'm actually want to like focus on posting like more face content on my actual business page because I feel like when I was doing that, I saw a lot more like response to it and then I kind of fell off of that. I'm like, okay, in 2025, like I really want to push that. And then what you were saying with like passive offerings and stuff, I'm like currently working on like an ebook and I never like thought I would want to like do that. But the amount of
Yeah.
people that like have messaged me and they're like, I don't even know how to like start a podcast or anything. And like I've helped them do it and I was like, you know what? Like either an ebook or like a masterclass, I guess that's what it's called.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Like something like that because like you said, sometimes there's things that like it's not like really individual. Like those things like anyone can watch it and it can help
Yeah.
anyone that's looking for it. So I feel like that would just like help me and save me time as well because if I'm going on these calls and everything like every single week to do this, if I just had something that I could just send to them and be like, "Hey, you can purchase this," so much easier.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's like, think about the things that people ask you most often. Think about the conversations you have most commonly in the comments or in DMs and
Hmm.
so on, and make a training about it. I stopped using Kajabi, which is where it's my course platform, but I was putting all my free trainings there.
Hmm.
And then I was maximized on space. So I started doing unlisted private YouTube videos.
Yeah.
If you purchase something, it just sends you the video, it sends you the training, and the email can also have the attachments in it for like any templates and such that you
Hmm.
can use. But then it's just like a unlisted YouTube video. So you need the link in order to watch it. So
Yeah.
you just create these things and it doesn't have to be super like intense or have any big platform to do it,
Hmm.
which is nice.
Yeah. So how do you kind of manage your time as a business owner, also a fiance, and having like a social life and doing things for you? How do you kind of manage it all?
I think for me, honestly, like it changes all the time. When I have a lot of calls during a week, and I know now that I take Thursdays and Fridays for my own space, so I will go
Hmm.
to the gym too and like try and take a class on those
Yeah.
days. But that's just something I started doing recently. Before I'm, and still now, like if I have a lot of laptop work, I will do my walking treadmill.
Hmm.
And so I have it actually right beside me. It's from Walmart. It was $200. It's called Go Zone. I can actually walk and get my activity in and work at the same time. So for in terms of my mental health, when I move my body, I feel better. So that
Yeah.
helps me feel better. And then that's kind of like the fitness side of it. Or I'll try and book a class. So I actually am around other people too. I try and maintain, even though I can work whatever hour, I try and still do the 9 to 5. And it could be 9 to 3, it could be
Yeah.
10 to 6 or whatever, like depending on what I'm feeling that day. But I like that because it aligns with my fiance's schedule. And so my weekends and my evenings I try and keep for myself or for us or for
Yeah.
friends. Even though, like, yeah, I could sleep all day and then work all night, but maintaining it. And also, because we both have our offices at home, like, it just feels good. We're both working and then we're both hanging out later. So even though,
Yeah.
like, I don't have to work technically today, I could work Saturday instead. I like to keep to that schedule because it helps me
Yeah. I
just
think that's
feel like,
important.
yeah, right.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to talk about Pinterest a bit because I feel like I know nothing about Pinterest other than the fact that I use it to make like pretty boards and stuff. Why do you think Pinterest is like an underutilized tool for business growth?
I think because people are so focused on like vanity metrics of followers and viral videos, which comes a lot from the TikToks and the Instagrams of the world,
Yeah.
or even the YouTubes, honestly. But that's why I think Pinterest is kind of slept on, or they think that, it's just a place to find a resource when they're looking to even me now plan my wedding or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, imagine being on the other side and you're the resource. And
Hmm.
the platform actually rewards you for having someone click out and end up on your website or end up on your podcast episode or so on. So I think it's really slept on because it doesn't have that viral factor that's very like sexy to people right now. They want to
Yeah.
be the celebrity and everything. But I think it's such a great tool because they want people to find your content when they're searching something and clicked out. So I have
Yeah.
it to click out to my sales funnels and to my main social channels, which is used to be both TikTok and Instagram, but now it's just Instagram because I don't know what's going on with the whole TikTok ban. So
Yeah.
playing it safe.
When you make like a pin, so it's your video that like it can click out to. So what do you put as like the picture? Do you usually take like a screenshot or do you like make it like aesthetic? Like what is that like?
Yeah, I actually just do the video. I just
Okay.
drag and drop the video up. And so you'll notice now when you're scrolling on your feed that some will just start playing and it's a video.
Hmm.
So make sure all of them have subtitles so that
Okay.
if
Yeah.
I'm just scrolling, it is interesting. I repurpose my content to Pinterest. So if I have a TikTok or if you edit my podcast and then you give me one of those shorts, it already has the captions on it. Instagram Reels always want to have captions on it if it's talking. If it's not, sometimes the Reels shorter and more visually snappy. You
Yeah.
can just drag and drop and put it as is. You can also test it with like for longer talking videos that I do on TikTok where I put a little bit more like work and time into.
Hmm.
I'll test both. I'll drag and drop the whole video, and another one I'll create a pin cover and I'll have it click to watch that video on my TikTok. So it
Okay.
drives the traffic there. The shorts you make me from the podcast episode, I put those on Pinterest and it clicks right out to that specific podcast episode.
Okay.
Not just the podcast itself, but that conversation, which helps me drive more traffic there.
Yeah. No, I love that. Can you share a recent like success story where Pinterest has like led to some growth?
I think one of the coolest things for me, and it's something that continues to be really powerful, is the long lifespan of pins. If someone's searching something, your pin can come up, whether you
Mhm.
posted it yesterday or you posted it years ago. So there's still a pin from 2021 that is one of my best performing pins, and it's driving traffic to a sales funnel for me
Mhm.
still to this day. So someone searches the topic, they get it, they go to my website, so get website traffic. They have to input their name and their email to get sent the freebie. So now it grows my email list of hot leads all the
Mhm.
time. And then they also get upsold into a passive offer where some people convert and some people don't. Some people don't yet. And then they follow me, but now
Yeah.
they're in my world. But I think it's just such a big win because I've totally forgotten about this pin. Like I made it
Yeah.
years ago and it's like still something that's working for me, which really isn't something you can say about really any other platform. Maybe YouTube if you're searching up like how to and there's a tutorial
Yeah.
video, but
Yeah, for sure. And is there a way to monetize on Pinterest directly? Because I know like there's like the business Pinterest. I'm in that I don't literally never looked at it really, but is there
yeah,
like a way to monetize on there?
there are Pinterest funds,
Okay.
but they're kind of selective. And I don't know if they're available in every country. Like there's one right now that's for their inclusivity fund. So you need to be like an underrepresented community to apply for
Okay.
it. So that's something, if you are an underrepresented community, take a look at that or search that for Pinterest. You might be eligible for their Pinterest creator fund for that.
Okay.
However, mainly the best way to monetize with Pinterest is to have it click out to
To your stuff.
your
Yeah.
site. Really like a conversion piece being your free training, bring them to your funnel. Or maybe if you're a content creator, you have them like link out to your affiliate links. Or
Hmm.
I was an affiliate for a long time for superhuman meditations.
Yeah.
I would just create pins. I'd use Chat GPT and be like, here's their website, superhuman. Write me the title and description for 10 Pinterest pins. It would do it. I drag and drop it on Canva and I'd just have it go with my affiliate code. And that made me a lot of money
Yeah.
too. And that was like something I did while I was watching TV. So it's
Yeah.
fun.
I feel like some people like hate on that, but I use it so much and like I'll use it for like captions and stuff just because it helps me. And then
Yeah.
obviously I'll like go in and like change it a little bit. I think you were talking about this on one of your podcasts too, like to change it a little bit to be more like your brand and like match your
Yeah.
voice. But it saved me so much time, honestly, and has honestly helped like the SEO aspect of my content.
Yeah, I think when people hate on it, it's more like don't just become a robot or don't create
Hmm.
content that doesn't really align with you. Like if I've asked it, like, give me tips to create content that converts because I'm blanking on content ideas that day.
Yeah.
And one of them is like send cold DMs. I don't like that. I'm not going to post that. But I think where people
Hmm.
can get the hate on it is like they just copy and paste whatever ChatGPT
Yeah.
gives them. And it's like, who are you? Like, what do you stand for kind of thing. But if you're using it as a resource, it's so helpful. And I think you should start using it as a resource if you
No,
aren't, because
honestly.
yeah,
Like sometimes when I'm like trying to like record like content for Instagram and like I'm blanking, I'm like, I don't even know what I want to post about. I'll literally go on there and be like, give me some ideas. And then some are like really good and aligned with me, and I'll take those and then like kind of twist it to my own. But I would say use it. It helps so much.
totally. And I'll even ask it too, like for when you get me back my podcast episode, and then I have that, I upload it to YouTube, I open Chat GPT, I say, this is what I talked about in this podcast episode. Give me some thumbnail ideas, help me with SEO. What should
Yeah.
I include in the description? And those are all from Chat GPT. Put that on YouTube, which helps for searchability. And then
Yeah.
the episode you provided back. And I'm like, sweet, there we
That's
go.
what I do too. It's so
Yeah.
helpful. So the last part of our podcast, I asked people on Instagram to ask you questions, and I picked two of my favorite ones. So the first one is, what's one thing you wish you knew earlier about building a successful online business?
I think when I first started, I was like, okay, I want to take this seriously. And I paid
Mhm.
someone $500 to make me a logo. And I just thought like the logo and the website were so important for making money. And I used that logo for a while and it was beautiful. And,
Mhm.
before I switched and now that's not my brand name anymore. So there's no knock on getting a logo, but it's like that stuff really isn't going to make you money. Focusing on content, standing for something, being known for something
Yeah.
with call to actions, that's going to make you money. So if I
Yeah.
were to do things a little differently, I would have probably put that $500 towards a mentor or something that'll help me with content strategy sooner.
Yeah. Going off that, I think you have over 20,000 on Instagram right now.
Yeah.
Did that like happen over time? Did you have like a viral video? Like, how did that happen?
I had steady growth consistently.
Okay.
And then I posted a video and I grew 15,000 followers over the course of a month, which was
Okay.
awesome.
Wow.
So it was like
Yeah.
one viral video that got me 15,000, and then the rest was like that organic, consistent growth that I was getting. And the funny thing is the reason that it grew so much was because I had so many troll comments on one post. And people are afraid to post something and stand in something and get pushback. And I've had a client before who's like, I was getting pushback. And so I actually deleted it. I was like, no, like let them talk. And then in the
Yeah.
comments, the people who get it, they'll get it. The people who don't, they
Hmm.
don't. And then they'll talk amongst themselves. You'll still get followers from the people who understand it. Or maybe they don't even, people don't even see that video, but because one of your videos has so much engagement, your others will be pushed out. So all of my content was being pushed out to more people because of
Yeah.
that. It was a manifestation quote, something about like, you wouldn't have the opportunity if you weren't ready or something. And people like, that's stupid. Don't do it unless you have the expertise. And I was like, I mean, if you really try and twist it in weird ways, I could see how
Yeah.
it
But people
wasn't
always have something to
authentic, but I
say.
was like, I'll take
Yeah.
it.
And
Yeah.
going off what you said there, I feel like sometimes people are like scared to post something or they're like, oh, like it's not that good. But at the end of the day, like honestly, just post it because you never know what can happen. Some of my content that's like done really well have been content that like I literally didn't even put thought into, like,
Same.
which is sometimes annoying because sometimes the things that I put so much thought and effort into don't do as well as the ones that I just like literally pull out in 5 minutes. But
Yep.
all to say, like, just post the content, don't like double like or overthink it because you never know what can happen.
Yeah, I know. I just posted one a couple weeks ago where I was at the gym and I was just having a Starbucks sandwich before I went home. And I just leaned my phone on something because I had an idea. That one's got more views than all of my recent reels beside it. And
Wow.
I actually like sat down and like scripted it and like planned
Yeah,
it. But I mean, that's to show that you never know what's gonna hit and
exactly.
what's not. So just try.
Yeah, 100%. And then the last question is, what role did mindset play in growing your business?
So much. Oh my gosh. And I think it's okay if you're not always confident and if you're not always positive, because I'm into manifestation and it's like, oh, am I going to sabotage my manifestation or my progress if I doubt myself or
Hmm.
whatever? And I just started to learn more about myself. It's like, no, if you're worried or you're nervous or you're concerned, how can I support myself in that moment? Maybe I need to actually not work. Maybe I need to
Hmm.
close my laptop and go for a walk. Or maybe I want to watch Real Housewives and be okay with it because I need a second.
Yeah,
So that self-awareness of like show up, hold yourself to a high standard and execute at that standard, but also give yourself the space you need because you're not a robot. And
mhm,
if you try to be one, you're going to burn out, and that's actually not helpful for your business in the
yeah,
long run. So mindset's good. Podcasts help me with that too. When you hear other founders' stories of how they had challenges and not everything was roses and they moved through it.
yeah.
Secret to the Millionaire Mind is another book that was really great for mindset and money making for me.
Awesome. Well, that's all I had for you today. So thank you so much again for coming on. Before you leave, do you want to shout out any of your socials, where people can find you, your stuff, work with you?
Absolutely. So I am on Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and YouTube at Alex Freitas Social. And then I also have a podcast, The Social Club with Alex Freitas. And last but not least, I do have a free training that I created recently. So in any of my links in bio and any of my profiles, you can click and see offers and such. But I have a new training that is content that converts. And it talks about specific forms of content that are going to help you stand out. And I'm really proud of that one. I just made it recently. So if that's something you want to check out, that's also available in any of my bios. And I can also send you the link to it
Yeah,
too.
and I'll leave everything in the show
The
notes.
show notes. Perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much again.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. So fun.
Of course.